What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? It's Friday. It is Friday, bro, and I'm back with a Boss and Friends episode. And y'all, I got a treat. I got a treat. I got a doctor in the house. Uh, and I tell y'all, I told y'all when I first started these Boss and Friends episodes, it was really my way of not only getting a chance to talk to my people, but exposing you all to who I feel make me better, at least feel like I'm a little bit important when I get a chance to talk to them in their own right. But y'all, say welcome and hello to Doctor Foster Expose Jr. What's up, sir?
Morning. How you doing, boss?
Hey man, I can't call it. Just glad you were able to avail your calendar to us just to have some verbal banter for a little while. But for those who are not connected to you yet, please tell folks who you are and where you currently reside in the world.
Absolutely. So, as you mentioned, I am Dr. Foster Expose Jr. I'm an industrial organizational psychologist and also a professional certified coach through the ICF. I'm in Denver, Colorado, with UC Health Health System, and my work here is I'm the manager for physician leadership development. So I have the pleasure of helping to guide the career development from a leader perspective for our physicians that are in leadership roles. Those are medical directors, medical practice leaders, and also providing executive coaching at the chief medical officer level.
Yeah. So what do you really do? That's all that was all that good superlative stuff. What do you really
well, again, the reason why I really enjoy what I do is I have a passion for helping those physicians. I see how they are continuously placed into leadership roles and not provided that development that administrative individuals get. So I think they're just great individuals as well. So having that quality time with them, especially one on one, to provide that coaching, but then also providing development opportunities that are appropriate for them to cultivate and grow their skills is very rewarding for me. And they are individuals that truly appreciate that extra care that you give them to help them advance in their careers. So that's one aspect of my life. That's my professional side. I also have a passion for helping cultivate and grow the careers of men of color, in particular Black men. So I host an annual Men of Color conference. It is virtual. This past February, I did an event called Metamorphosis, which Lawrence was one of our guest speakers. So Metamorphosis was really a groundbreaking event where Black men shared very personal stories of their own transformation, how they actually grew from that situation, and they shared tips and tools with the participants during the conversation. Um, Also, I host a monthly coffee chat with the brothers on a Sunday morning where we come together as Black men to have different conversations about different topics to kind of grow together. It's about 90 minutes. So it's open to anyone that's on my mailing list or anyone who is viewing and watching right now. I can also share that with you. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Right now, my website is in the process of being updated, so that's not active where you can go there and register for it as well. So that's what I enjoy doing in terms of taking care of my physicians, but also helping to elevate and grow careers of African American men.
Yeah, and it's always something to me, and I always tell people, particularly around alignment in relationship and different things like that. And how I met Dr. Foster was he reached out to me, right? It was in that season of COVID where we were all trying to see how this next normal or this phase of life, this season of life for all of us was going to shake out. But he was actively building community and reached out, and we began having a conversation. And it wasn't, hey, I like your page. It was, hey, brother, you have a gift. I
Mhm.
know some other brothers with some gifts. Let's talk. And it was really just from that space of early on collaboration, early on of collective community, early on of how can we make this world a better place. just one conference, one conversation at a time. And Dr. Foster, when you think about why this is your work, what makes this your work, connecting at this level?
Oh, that's a great question. I feel like it's something that's part of why I'm here. Um, one of the reasons I went into psychology, in particular industrial psychology, is because I wanted to be able to not necessarily fight for it, but protect those inside the work environment. Because we all know that our jobs are and where we go to for work is, in essence, our home. We just sleep where we pay rent or pay mortgages or whatever. So as much as we can make that work environment healthy, um, uh, this great camaraderie, we can support each other because again, we spend so much of our time there. It's extremely important. And to get to your point around the networking and through this whole pandemic, what's happened this last what 16 months, 17 months, if you will, it's more important for us across the globe to really connect and help each other through uh, what's happening. What I'm really concerned about, Lawrence, as this clinical tsunami starts to subside, what's coming next is a psychological pandemic where everybody's going to start to have the purging of what's been happening to them after a year of being isolated. I haven't seen my mom since Christmas of 2019, so I'm feeling that as well. I'm going home to see her as soon as things kind of get more under control. But that's part of me as well that I'm experiencing as well. So if I'm experiencing it, others are experiencing it. And I think about too, for African American men, oftentimes we're taught to be tough and strong and not show emotions or put those things out. And that coffee chat I have is a great place where these guys can have those conversations and talk about how they're feeling, how the pandemic has impacted them. So I guess what I'm really getting at is that we right now need to be more intentional about creating psychologically safe environments, whether it's for work, whether it's brother to brother, peers, whatever, so that we can allow each other to open up and share and talk about what this experience has been like and how I'm feeling. I think there's just way too many people thinking that, okay, you got your 2 shots, back to normal. Well, I may look the same, but something's going on the inside, and you need to provide me with that safe space where I can share that with you.
Yeah, I think Faust, thank you so much for sharing that, particularly around just the foundation and the expectation, management of expectation when in these spaces, which you alluded to it, this may be a new process for people to come in, particularly for men, to say, hey, one, you want me to be what? I can't even spell vulnerable. But then you want me to what? Lay that out in front of people I don't even know.
Mhm,
And then two, you want me to lay this out in front of people I don't know. It's one thing to get in touch with my feelings in a one-on-one conversation, but I believe the vulnerability as a courageous act is a teacher. It's an educator. And one of the people, me and you, us, like we read a lot of books of John Maxwell. And like I tell people, one of my first books, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, I was on the law of the lid for a long time
wow.
because I was thinking I had to be the person to raise my lid versus being around a community to see, right, it in action, right. and
Mhm,
and when I was only looking at me as the end all be all, I was missing the opportunity for someone else to be for me in their space. And what that's one of the things that connected me to you is literally that authentic desire to say, dude, I got you. Like,
mhm,
let me show you. And hey, here's another group that they could do it too. And it's not in the, again, like we say, most people like, oh, you want me to bare my whole soul to you? It, if you want to. But
mhm,
what does it look
mhm,
like to do it in a space where it's not jarring, right? Because we know there are parts of our stories, if told in real time, it would look like the bloodiest, goriest movie you could think of. And people may not be ready for that, and it may cause harm. And so it's being vulnerable in a space that's useful and impactful. So when you think about just the metamorphosis conferences and the coffees, Can you talk to how you create impactful spaces, not just spaces that scare people in? Is like, you know what, this is not a bleeding heart circle I want to aspire to be a part of.
Well, yeah, it's all about being intentional, like you said, but also opening up those conversations. Say this is a zero judgment zone. There's no judgment here. I just want to connect with you, individual to individual, person to person, human to human, and share with you. And just from a leader perspective, I think that as much as we as leaders can be open and vulnerable, we can set that stage. Others would do the exact same thing. So I remember in Metamorphosis when I shared how when I lost my father, that was an extremely vulnerable moment for me because I hadn't really talked about that with anyone. And as you know, it really broke me down for a little while. But it was very cathartic. But I also felt safe enough because I was amongst a group of brothers who provided me that safe space, no judgment. They were saying, "I got you. It's okay. That's why we're here." And as much as we can provide that to others, whether it's a leadership, whether it's a friend, a spouse, a sibling, others will open up and share as well. And we have to be more intentional right now because we had just been living this dystopian nightmare for the last year. And when is it going to end? We got to come out of it, but we have to have tools to come out of it, but also look at things different. The When I think about the employees that are starting to return back to work, the psychological contract is different now as compared to what it was before the pandemic. So as an employee, I was looking for, my boss to, not saying my boss in particular, just talking in general. I want you to continue to pay me as appropriately, give me a safe environment, good work environment, um, the tools I need to do my job. That's what everyone's looking for. But now, as we're starting to come back, we're looking more for our leaders to be sensitive, understanding, more compassionate, building that safe environment. A lot of people are looking for flexibility. They've been working from home for so long. So our leaders going to be more flexible about hybrid work environment opportunities for people. So that's the new psychological contract that employees are looking for from their employers. And leaders and organizations need to be aware of that.
And I like that the awareness and that explicit call out of there needing to be almost a reset or an acknowledgement of this new psychological contract. Because we think about it, old school, when you talked about safety, that was like in line with OSHA standards, right? Like
Yeah.
health, welfare. Are we gonna have beams popping people in the head? Like that's all. When we talked about safety, stand down day, it was all around the production environment, right? Or it was all about what could hurt you physically. But the unseen, and we understand over the past year and some change, it's the unseen stuff that is really causing some turmoil to happen, particularly around how people see themselves, even just integrating
Hmm.
back into what people are trying to get back to normal. And so when you think about your role as an organizational psychologist, what are some of the things that you're on the professional side of coaching, and then on the organizational psychology side, because those are two separate hats that you come into a conversation with. What are you doing to impact the spaces that you're a part of?
It's a great question. One of the things that I am working on now, I'm supporting the Health and Wellness Committee for the organization. And we're in the process of looking at how can we implement this stress continuum model where a person can come in and assess where they are on that model. And it could be, green where things great, I'm feeling good, yellow, kind of cautious, but if it's red or orange, that leader needs to say, I need to watch out for Lawrence because he's coming in as a red or orange today. He's told me that. And when things start to surface for him, let me get him to the right resources to help him. So we're thinking about putting something like that in place. That's from the organizational side, the impact. Because what typically happens in healthcare, people that go into healthcare, they're fixers. They want to fix, 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 fix. Now's the time to stop and slow down and say, let me understand this person and connect with them. So that's that side from the organizational side. From the coaching side, I'm providing a safe environment for my leaders to really say, I am burned. out, Foster. I am stressed. I can't do any more. So that's that piece where the leaders need that sounding board and some reassurance and talk about what is the small goal I want to work on to try to get myself out of this. And most of the time, it's persevere. That's what it is. And we get into that conversation around when I talk about being able to persevere, what are you taking in? Because sometimes if you're taking in junk, it could stop you from being focused around the goal and it takes you off from being able to persevere through the process. Um, your sleep pattern. I mean, are you practicing a healthy circadian rhythm, going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time? That's very important for us because everything that's happening, some of us that are still working from home, and people think because you're working from home, you can always be in front of your computer 14, 15 hours a day. You have to get yourself in that the regimen to close the computer at 6 o'clock, be in bed by 8 or 9 o'clock, wake up at the same time to keep moving that way. Because what's most important, Lawrence, is I go back to what are you feeding your soul with? Are you watching a lot of negative TV like CNN or whatever those stations are and just reporting, watching all of the stuff that's happening? Are you reading negative things? Are you being involved in conversations that are negative? That junk that you're taking in impacts you.
Yeah, and shout out to anybody who might want to cancel my boy for shouting out saying stop watching CNN first. Don't act like he a Fox lover or anything else like that. It's all trash. Let's keep it 100. It's all trash. And so you need to protect your peace is what my guy was saying. But that is so huge, particularly Foster, around just like you said, creating those rhythms, even in this next normal. Yes, there's going to be those adjustments, there are going to be those changes, but what are those things that you could create a rhythm around? The things, particularly in a healthy manner, right? And one thing is, we used to talk about, you need to exercise, you need to feed yourself the right things, but no, you really need to exercise. You need to feed yourself the right things and create these new habits. Because what if this last year and some change didn't teach us anything, is that what we thought was healthy living before, there needs to be an evolution, right? It goes back to the law of the lid. How have you raised your lid, or how have you shifted to support healthy living for yourself? And when you think about just some of the things that you're personally doing, right? People always want to know what is Dr. Foster prescribed to? We already talked. We already know. Don't call Dr. Foster after 6 p.m. because he done told you the laptop is closed. I like the subliminal. I like the subliminal you threw out there and said, and don't email him until after 6 or 7 in the morning. He just gave y'all his sleeping pattern. So, what are you doing, Dr. Foster, to kind of keep yourself in alignment and from day to day?
Oh, it's a great question. One of the things that I truly love doing is photography. I've been in Denver now for roughly about a year and a half almost. And 3 months of me being here, the pandemic hit, so I was stuck in the house. So I'm starting to get out more and do photography. There's some of my work behind me, hanging on the wall right there. It's very relaxing for me. But I also will tell you too, during the pandemic, I've taken some 10,000 pictures. So going through those pictures during the pandemic and kind of reminiscing about the time I was in Chicago or this place or that place, kind of get some mental relaxation or just detachment from what was happening was very great for me. So I love to do the photography. It gives me the chance to explore the city more. We've had quite a few snowstorms here within the last month and a half in Denver, so quite a few snow pictures. So that's been great as well. So stuff like that, and keeping positive people around me. One of the things I've also learned during the pandemic is that colleague and friends list has gotten smaller, and it's because it's people that actually truly care and truly constantly reach out. It's very important. Um, and also for me, I've raised the bar on relationships. I've always been the type of person to stay in touch with people, check in, see how they're doing it. I'm being more intentional about it today. So those kinds of things have has helped me through the process getting through the pandemic and fuel my soul as well.
Man, I tell y'all, and so look, he ain't blowing smoke, y'all. For I will get a text say, "Hey, boss, just checking in." Just checking on my guy, right? And the fact that y'all and that's to help people. And I'm glad you again you continue to just drop what some call a chore or I just in the humming and the hawing of I'm too busy's. Like, look, y'all, if
Hmm.
we didn't learn nothing over the past year and some change, you better slow your tail down. And like the old thing is stop and smell the roses. If you're not in Georgia, because as allergy season all year long. So if you're allergic, don't smell flowers, but smell some perfume or something. But just slow yourself down to check in on those. And I like that what you said there, and not being apologetic about there being a raising of the lid on who you desire to have in your space, because also I believe this last year and some change flushed out was really important for people and how they desire to spend their time, and again to be 100 unapologetic about it, right? Just really saving space and holding space for things that are meaningful. And so thank you so much, Dr. Foster, for flushing that out, because I've enjoyed being a part of the network. And I tell y'all, if you don't have a community of folks that stretch you,
Hmm.
that when you're in their presence, they don't make you laugh while stretching you, then you might want to check your azimuth on that crew. Because I tell you, Dr. Foster is one of those people for me. As I'm on my PhD journey, he put me around some other jokers that's like, yo, L, this what you need. Hey, when you get to this point in your dissertation process, let me know. And so, Doc, when it comes to that community or the type of person you want to be connected to in this season of life for you, describe that person, right? Because as I tell people to connect with you, I just want to make sure they come correct. So,
Yeah.
who are the types of people you want to be connected with?
I like genuine people, and I have a good sense, or I guess I say a good radar to be able to detect who is genuine and real, because we're all on this human journey together. And I like to connect with people that I can trust, that are genuine, that have things going for themselves in their lives, but they're also pouring back into people. And I just turned 48 a couple months ago, and I'm very intentional about mentoring, helping sponsor, give back to other people. Because if I passed away tomorrow and I haven't shared knowledge, and I haven't done my job. So connecting with genuine people that can have that two-way street of, if I'm sharing with you, you share back with me as well, and we continue to grow as humans on this journey. So that's very important to me. Is that, again, that genuine person.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. So y'all make sure y'all heard what he said. Genuine. Don't come in there trying do no smoke and mirrors type of stuff. You're gonna get found out. You're dealing with an organizational psychologist, so don't get your feelings hurt. Trying to bamboozle, lead Foster astray, because you're gonna get called out. But you know what? I'm always intrigued by how fast time goes with these episodes of Boss and Friends. But Foster, I want people to connect with you. I want them to share metamorphosis. I want them to share with the men in their lives about the coffees, these created, cultivated spaces for vulnerability for men. How can people connect with you? How can they follow your journey and what you're doing?
Sure. So I'm on Twitter, Foster Expose Jr. You find me on Twitter. My website is in the process of being updated, so that's down right now. But you can email me at coach@drexpose.net to contact me that way to get access to the events I have for the men of color, but also for the monthly coffee chats as well. So my website should be back up. We're targeting the first part of June. There's been a few ups and downs with getting things lined out for that, but that'll be back up in on June. So coach@drexpose.net. You can follow me also on Twitter under Foster Expose Jr.
I love it. I love it. So, hey, sir, I appreciate you. And y'all, always tune in, always share. And anybody that you think Foster should be connected with, please share his info. He loves meeting amazing people, as I do, and I just put it out there. So if they share, they share. And so, thank you so much, sir, for allowing me again this space, this time on your Friday. And I hope you have a great weekend. And y'all continue to be safe out there. Continue to build networks in a genuine and authentic way. Until next time, folks, we will see y'all later.
Thank you, sir.
Gotcha.